Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be doing my 2024 ATP Tour predictions. Now the reason why I'm doing it so early this year is because last year for some reason I did it in February and the year before, so it kind of seems a bit silly when you're doing predictions for the year after one of the biggest tournaments in that year, because it made me think some things, and it's a bit cheating. So we're gonna do it in December before the season starts, as it does kick off at the end of this week, started next week in Sydney, Perth, and Brisbane for the United Cup and the Brisbane International. So hope you all enjoyed this video, and yeah, let's do this. Okay, so what we'll be predicting in this video for our 2024 predictions, I will be doing the 4 Grand Slam tournament winners, so the winners of the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, US Open, and also the Olympics. So who will win that gold medal as the Olympics return this year in Paris, which will be at Roland Garros. So 2 French Opens essentially, but that's the first one. Second one will be 2 bold predictions. So I'll just be doing some 2 bold predictions for what will happen across the season, something that people would not normally expect. Number 3, predict the best rivalry across 2024. Which rivalry will shine the most? Who will have the best matches as like a rivalry, like head-to-head and all that. See how that goes. And predict the top 5 end-of-year rankings, because last year was a bit how you doing, so we'll see how this year goes with the top 5 end-of-year rankings. So for our first Grand Slam tournament to predict will be the Australian Open. Now, going into this tournament, I don't have any knowledge of how the players will play. Who knows, Djokovic could get injured at the United Cup, which means that he can't play the Australian Open, or he can, but it'll be really bad. But I have a feeling Djokovic will win this tournament. He has won here 10 times before, and I genuinely think he can win it, because Nadal, he'll come back, but he's not going to be playing at his best tennis straight away. Like, I'm pretty sure he's only playing Brisbane, then the Australian Open, so he's got 1 tournament to get his play style back together, adapt, and that's just 1 week of playing. If he makes it to the end of the week, he's been doing a bunch of training, but I don't see him becoming competitive until at least after maybe the French Open. Maybe around French Open, or like the clay court season, he'll start to get a lot better. But I think Djokovic has got this, because Alcaraz, his coach, is injured. He cannot be there for him at the Australian Open. That's one big thing. Alcaraz, he hasn't been playing very good tennis recently. Djokovic has destroyed him in matches, and he has been on the downfall. Sinner and Medvedev might be Djokovic's only real threats in the tournament. Holger Rune might be up there, but we'll see how it goes. But I think Djokovic will kick off the season strong and win his 25th Grand Slam title. Okay, so up next we have the French Open, the clay court season. Now, there isn't very many good players on the clay other than really Djokovic and Alcaraz. So I think this will be the best tournament for Alcaraz to claim a win if he gets a Grand Slam title this year. I just don't see his chances up against Djokovic at the moment. He is very good. He's getting up in the age, but he's been playing very well, so I'm gonna have to go with Djokovic again. Now, this is when Nadal will probably start to play somewhat decent. I'd say I don't know if he'll be contending for the title, but I think Djokovic has got this and will win the French Open for his 26th Grand Slam title. Okay, now moving on to the grass court season. I'm going to have to go with Djokovic again for Wimbledon. Now, I'm not being biased to Djokovic, so all you little Alcaraz and Federer and Nadal fans, if you're here, don't get mad at me, but I think Djokovic can genuinely win 3 for 3 in 2024, unless something happens. But at the moment, I don't see anybody other than Alcaraz stopping him. Because, really, even Sinner, but I think Djokovic might have this all under control. He's won at Wimbledon 7 times. He's a very good grass court player. What I think that made him lose Wimbledon last year in the finals to Alcaraz. Alcaraz was the better player, but at the same time, he played more tournaments in the grass than Djokovic did. Djokovic never plays in the grass court season. Alcaraz did play Queens, and he does a lot of training, and to be honest, Alcaraz, he pushes his body way too much. Djokovic has a bit more calmer approach. That's why I think Djokovic will have a longer, he's having a really long career so far and really successful still at such a old age. Well, not old, but old for, professional career. But I just think Djokovic will win this tournament and go into the Olympics with his head held up high. Alrighty, it is Olympics time, and I think this is Djokovic's last chance, I reckon, in his career to win the Olympics, win that gold medal. Something that he's been dreaming of for so long. I think that's just the last goal he really needs in his career. But I reckon that if it isn't Djokovic that wins this, it will be Carlos Alcaraz if he plays him in. He will be good, but I am gonna be confident on Djokovic. And I'm saying Djokovic will win the gold medal in 2024 at the Paris Olympics. Alrighty, the final Grand Slam of the season, the US Open. Can Djokovic win his 28th Grand Slam title? Something that no one will ever believe that could happen to a player at 37 years of age, but I think he can do it. He can stop all the haters, or silence them, all the little Alcaraz Fidal fans, and prove that he can win a Golden Slam in 2024, and I believe it is possible for him to do it. But if he doesn't win the US Open, I think Jannik Sinner will win it. Just saying. But I think Djokovic will do it. Okay, for our first bold prediction, I don't know if it's really bold, but I think Jannik Sinner will make it to his first Grand Slam final. I think it's kind of semi-bold, but it's doable for him. It honestly is doable. He has played very well these last few months. Beat Alcaraz. Beat Djokovic. That's a big one. At the Nita ATP Finals, he beat Djokovic in the round robins and then beat him again in the singles and the doubles at the Davis Cup. So it is doable for him to, if he doesn't win a Grand Slam title, he'll at least make it to a final. And wherever it is, in the 4 Grand Slams, I think he can do it. He is a very underrated player on the tour and is a very talented young star. So I think Jannik will make it to a Grand Slam final next year. Okay, now this is a pretty bold one, because Nadal, he hasn't played in really good tennis in over a year. He's been injured for a while, but I think Rafael Nadal at 3 times next year will win a title. It might be towards the end of the year, who knows, but I think it is doable for him to win at least 3 titles. Now, remember, 2021, he had an injury. He pulled out of the season from, he didn't even do the US Open, I think. I can't remember, but he pulled out halfway through the season, and then he ended up going on to win 2 Grand Slam titles, one a 21 match streak at the start of the season, and he played some really good tennis. I don't know how he'll go considering how the injury was a lot worse last year, but I think he'll win 3 titles at some point next year. Okay, here we go. Best rivalries in 2024. These are the rivalries that I think will shine the most, and we'll see some beautiful tennis from these 4 guys when they're versing each other on the court. Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Daniil Medvedev. Now, they already all have pretty tight rivalries, as Djokovic and Alcaraz currently have a really big one. I think Djokovic and Sinner will start to grow even more as next year goes on. Medvedev as well with Djokovic is a pretty big one, with Medvedev winning the US Open in 2021 over Djokovic, beat him in Dubai. Djokovic has beaten him multiple times. Alcaraz and Medvedev, with Medvedev beating Alcaraz a few times. Jannik Sinner and Medvedev and Alcaraz. It's all going to be a huge year next year for rivalries with these 4 guys. And to be honest, I think we're going to see some really good matches out of them. But we'll see how next year goes. Something could happen to one of them, or anything, even all of them, but we'll see how things go. But I'm predicting that these 4 will shine most on court. Okay, for our final predictions, we got the top 5 year-end rankings. Where will 5 players stand at the end of next year? So number 1, I'm going to go with Novak Djokovic. So with 4 Grand Slam titles, and he'll most likely win at least 2 Masters titles, maybe even the year-end finals. I think he'll win the ATP finals as well. We'll see how that goes. But Djokovic could, if he wins 5. He just needs 5 titles to tie with Roger Federer on 103 career titles. But Djokovic, with all the points he's getting, I think he will finish number 1 year-end rankings. Okay, up next in the number 2 spot, who will be world number 2 at the end of the year? And I'm going to go with Jannik Sinner. This might be a bit of a bold one, but I think that Jannik will get the better of Carlos Alcaraz. Now remember, I know Alcaraz didn't have a very strong end to the season, but his start of the season in 2023 was strong. It was really strong. He won quite a lot of tournaments, so that means he will drop a lot of points. He won 3 Masters titles and a bunch of 500s and 250s, so he's gonna drop quite a bit of points, but we'll see how he goes. I just don't know if he'll be able to recover up into world number 1 by the end of the year. So I think he will be number 2, Jannik Sinner. Okay, now number 3, I think Carlos Alcaraz will finish the year number 3, as he is a very good player, very strong. But, like I said, he's not going to come back to world number 1 by the end of the year, or maybe not even world number 2, obviously, because I've put him number 3. I think he'll still have a good season, but number 3 is where he'll be. Okay, number 4. Who will finish year-end world number 4? I think that will go to Daniil Medvedev. Like I said, Djokovic, Sinner, Alcaraz, Medvedev will shine as a big rivalry next season. But I think Medvedev will fall short in that. He is a very strong player. He will do well next year, but I think he will set himself in 4th at the year-end rankings. Okay, now, that's all 4 of them done. Now, who will finish the season as number 5 in the world? Now, this is going to be an interesting one, because there's some pretty big players in here that can do well. But I have a feeling that it will go to Alexander Zverev. He is a very strong player. He has been playing quite well. Last year he came back from injury as well. That's a big one. He fell out of the top 10. I think he did fall out of the top 15. He came back. He's now number 7 in the world. But I have a feeling he can get the better of Tsitsipas and Rublev. Rublev's a very consistent player, but his mental game isn't that strong. So if he can fix that up, he'll be a contender. And if Tsitsipas can stop focusing on his girlfriend, no, I'm joking. He's a good player, I like Tsitsipas, but I don't know. He's been on a bit of a downfall recently, but we'll see how he goes. I think number 5 will go to Alexander Zverev. So there it is. That is my top 5 rankings for the year end of 2024. So let me know if you agree with this or predictions. But yeah, I'll see how this goes by the end of next year. Hopefully I got most of these right. Hopefully I got them all right, because that'll be pretty cool to get the predictions right. But we will see how this goes. So there we go. That is my 2024 ATP Tour predictions. At least it was recorded before the season actually starts, unlike the other 2 years. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm really appreciating all the support that my channel has had recently, especially this year. I've got, I think, 3 more videos for the year before I go on my New Year's break. So yeah, let's make the most of these final videos this year before we move on to 2024. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy your day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.